Okay guys, David D here from the Get a Clue Marketing Show. Glad you're stuck with us. I wanted to show you a tour, just the Boulevard of Myrtle Beach and things like that, of, you know, how I got down here and how I love the beach, you know. Okay, so let's get started. This is the beginning of the Boulevard down here in Myrtle Beach. And there was something about it. My parents came down 1979 or 80. We stayed at Lakewood Campground, and we just didn't look back. You know, this is something that stood with me. You know, the beaches, the cleanliness, the sand. This was way before all these hotels and everything. These were mom and pop hotels, and then they couldn't handle the taxes anymore on their own, so they either had to invest more and go with these high-rises or sell out, okay? And they were going to be, you know, instant millionaires, so they sold out. Some of them did. We also, you know, I'll tell you later on how I got into the cable business, but we used to rewire and install cable TV in these high-rises. I mean, they were so old. They were in the, you know, 60s and 70s when they were built, so all the wire had to be replaced. Anyway, so it was 1990, and day after Thanksgiving. Now, it was interesting irony that I went to Florida that summer, 90, with my friends, and it was awesome. Had a great time, but you know, we went from Fort Myers to Naples, to Daytona, to Orlando, to Tampa, and we were all over the place. And I wanted to see, it was great because I got to see the state, and I got to tell you, it was flat, and I couldn't see above the trees. Now, South Carolina has it flat, but down here by the beach, so the only time you get a hill that you can overlook are the bridges, which is nice. It's fine. So anyway, I always loved the beach. I always went to the beach. When I was able to drive, I would go down to the beach up in Connecticut, even though it was getting really bad. You know, they had needles on the beach and it was getting trashy. But I always loved the beach. So I always had the choice, you know, do I want to live in a place that had mountains, or do I want to be at the beach where everybody wanted to be? Well, I decided the beach. I was 21, and it was the best decision of my life. You know, I got out of that. I got my degree in marketing, and then I just took off. Came down here. I didn't know it was a ghost town. That was a freaking thing that I had to deal with. What? You mean everybody's closed? I had no clue about that. After Labor Day, everything basically shut down. So anyway, it was okay. And so you know what you do when you don't have a job? You call a temporary service. Okay? Call a temporary service, and you say, hey, you know, what do you have for work? Because there's always people looking for work, even if it's assembly, manufacturing, cleaning up. I was cleaning up a department store that was moving out, and that was my job. You know, it was I don't know, $10 an hour, but you do what you can to survive. You know, I left with $3,000 in my pocket. I worked for it over the summer. I worked for it during the fall. And as hard as I can work, I only got $3,000. I was delivering pizzas. I was cleaning movie theaters. I was doing whatever it takes, because that's what an entrepreneur does. An entrepreneur does what it takes to survive. And lo and behold, just like New York City, if you don't make it here, you don't make it anywhere. Because when it's a ghost town, it's hard to find a real good paying job. And, you know, I ended up landing a job, thank God, with a lot of prayer, a lot of faith, believing I was going to get a job. I got a corporate job for a cable company. It was the number five in the nation, okay, of cable companies. It was great. They treated you like family. We had outings once a quarter, picnics. It was great. It was great. And because I'm a movie buff, I got to see free cable. I had the free premium channels, and back then it was something to have premium channels. Then I got promoted to the marketing department. I was in charge of pay-per-view. I was in charge of the events. I was in charge of, wrestling. Wrestling was a killer. You had wrestling, college football. The Olympics were on pay-per-view. That was for the first time in history. The first time in history was the Olympics. The Olympics were on pay-per-view. It was a disaster because it was so confusing. You had different packages: gold, silver, bronze. And people say, well, I ordered the gold and I'm getting bronze. And it was just a nightmare, okay? But you know what happened during that stint? I worked for corporate for 5 years, and it was a great experience. Great experience. Because you need corporate speak if you're going to be an entrepreneur. You need to know how to talk the language of office personnel, of upper management. You have to learn how to write letters. Now, you got to understand, I'm only 21. This is what I was doing at 21, I was working for corporate, and I was down at the beach. The first year was like a vacation, I would wake up, I was like, dang, I'm at the beach. I don't have to drive 45 minutes to go to the beach, It was fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. But I also knew that I had bills to pay, I rented out a mobile home, which was perfect. I mean, I didn't want an apartment. I didn't want a condo because I didn't want somebody, right next door to me. You just question your neighbors. You got to. So anyway, I got a mobile home. It was 3 bedrooms, fully furnished, 2 water beds, a water cooler, microwave, refrigerator, washer and dryer. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing. So, that was a miracle, by the way. It all happened in 1 week. I was down to my last $500. And I was praying, and God heard my prayer. Thank God He saved my life. And so, it's just, that was miraculous. I got a corporate job. I got my own place. It had couches too. The only thing it didn't have was a TV. I had that TV. I moved down with it. And so anyway, that was nice. So what else was I'm getting distracted by these clouds. One of the things about Myrtle Beach is, every hour the weather changes. It's kind of like, living in the tropics, it'll be sunny and then all of a sudden a cloud comes out of nowhere. Usually at the end of the day. This is unusual. So a lot of tourists around here, which is fine. They help keep our property tax low, which is nice. The other thing I moved down to South Carolina for was the taxes. And they're got good freedoms around here. You don't have to worry about lockdowns and things like that. So anyway, so what was I saying? I was doing corporate America. And then it got the bureaucracy of, micromanagement and stepping over each other and people claiming credit when you did the work. Oh boy, a lot of that in corporate America. So I got out. And I already had my own business. I had my business. I had my cleaning business. I was cleaning theaters. And I was selling water filters at the time. This is all in 1987, right after I graduated from high school. And so this is, by the way, this is downtown Myrtle Beach. There's the beach that you probably see on the webcam. The webcam is over in that corner where the building is for WPDE, I believe. So this is Ripley's. You can see that. And I remember going to here in 1989 or 1979 down here. It was the biggest thing. I mean, come on. I was only, how old was I? 8, 9. This was the thing, man. You had all arcades over here. This place is crazy at night. I don't suggest it. And it's bumper to bumper, you know. You're going a lot slower than this. Which, you know, that's pretty slow. There's the Sky Wheel. None of this was here, I don't know, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. But it's good. I like it. You know, it's a drive away from anywhere, from Virginia, West Virginia. Where else? I mean, you know, anywhere in North Carolina. Ohioans come down here. They came down here to play golf, and then it was a tradition. Now they continue to come down. That's fine. But look at these high rises. I guess the highest rises is 22. You always got to let the pedestrians go. That's fine. You always got to watch yourself around here. You can't be drunk. And a lot of people are. I don't know how they do it without people hitting in the streets like this guy. The sidewalks over there. Oh, I don't like the bumps, he says. Okay. So this is where the vendors in the middle of the road, that's the only place they can park, really. Anyway, what was I saying? I left corporate America to go back to my roots in entrepreneurship, okay? And this is a great breeding ground for entrepreneurship because you have to have a side hustle because they don't pay in South Carolina. So you have to own your own business. You know, you have to provide a service. You have to do all that, and in order to survive. So anyway, it's really dark around here. I'm gonna see if I can find some sunlight, and stay tuned for more. I'm not finished yet of my adventures down here in Myrtle Beach. This is David D from the Get a Clue Marketing Show, and we'll talk to you soon.